Finally, the best Spider-Man movie in ever. Spider-Man Homecoming is directed by John Watson, stars Tom Holland as a 15-year-old Peter Parker who has to deal with growing up in Queens, becoming an Avenger. Oh, and he's also Spider-Man, my favorite superhero of all time. Now, this is the third time that the Webhead has been portrayed on screen, and I can tell you that this is probably the best one we've had so far, but there are a few minor issues here and there.
What'd you say?
Spider-Man?
That's me. Now you and me are gonna have a little chat.
Oh! Sticky, what the heck, dude? Ah. It's a pretty weak webbing, dude. What did you web me for? Dude, my aunt gave you a churro.
Few flaws. Mr. Stark said it was the best thing ever. I loved working with him. A few flaws? No. It's the best movie that's out right now.
Just because it's the best movie out there right now, which is debatable in and of itself, doesn't necessarily mean that it's a masterpiece. It's a great movie, and I'm so happy that it's good, and I loved it, but that it does have a few flaws here and there that I'd like to point out. But first I'm going to talk about all the great things that were in it, and trust me, the good does outdo the bad. So here we go.
Fine. But can I at least help?
Sure, why not? I need a special guest anyway. So we're going to talk a little about Spider-Man Homecoming, the things I loved, the things I hated, the things he loved, and the nothing that he hated, because he was in it. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to start off with the positives. First off, I do want to say that the casting in this movie was fantastic. Would you?
Yeah, I do. I really do like the casting for it. Everybody that I worked with, they're phenomenal.
Yeah, including Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man. Not Peter Parker. Two different people there.
I don't know him. I mean, I know him a little bit from just experience, but I don't know. I don't know him.
Yeah. And then, you mean, Peter's good friend Ned is really good, too. I don't know if you've met Ned, haven't you?
Yeah,
you've met him a
I
couple
see him
times,
from a following over
Ned,
yeah.
Yeah, Ned was great in the movie. I can't think of the guy's name. I'll put it right there. He was pretty good. Zendaya was surprisingly better than I thought she was going to be.
Yeah.
Like, she actually played her part very well for what she was going for. And there's like a neat little Easter egg at the end there. We might get into spoilers later on, but for the most part, there's going to be a spoiler-free review. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So, aside from that, Michael Keaton is the Vulture, man. Perfect.
Yeah,
he was great. One of the bigger issues with these Marvel movies is that the villains often aren't that great. But this is definitely an exception. Michael Keaton is great as the Vulture, and even though he's definitely evil, it's kind of one of those things where you're kind of watching it like, justified. You know, I completely understand what he's going through. Even though it's not good, I definitely see where he's coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the suit that they went with the design of it. The original cartoon design had basically no comparison to it, but I really do like the design that they chose. And, I mean, the aspect of what the movie gave was a very good choice.
Yeah, I do like how the suit is made from, like, old Iron Man tech. And, like, old Avengers tech, which makes perfect sense, because if you went from, like, the same origin as the comics, that would come off really weird. And I thought that so far, this is probably the best Spider-Man movie we've gotten so far. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I really like this one.
I mean, like, the Raimi trilogy, which... Hang on a sec. Okay, so I can't find my copy of Spider-Man 3, but Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 have been basically a lot of my childhood. They're the movies that basically shaped me into being what I am today, and the movies that I want to make. It inspired me heavily. And hell, even like the Andrew Garfield movies. I don't hate them. They're okay. They're okay. They're not terrible, not great. They're okay. You know? But this movie is probably the best so far as accuracy to the comics.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, it's definitely a great movie. I do highly recommend it. I'll give my rating later on, but those are some of the positives. Other positives, the suit is great. This one and the Stark suit. By the way, why are you wearing your homemade suit? Whatever happened to your Stark suit?
Oh, wait, this is the wrong suit. I forgot I was wearing this. Wait a minute, I remember. Okay, I think Mr. Stark was the one that took it. He asked me if I wanted the iron suit, but I refused. And I remember taking the old suit home, and I just left it there. And I grabbed this one because I went to go stop another bike.
Fair enough. Yeah. I did lose a bike at some point. Do you think maybe that was? I don't know. You got
Oh, you're the guy. Okay.
What? Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I lost that bike. Yeah. Anyways, so I do like the suit. The CGI on it is great. I love how the eyes are expressive on it. That's really fantastic. I love that aspect. This is definitely an extension of what he was in Civil War, which he was great in Civil War. One of the best aspects of that movie. And Spider-Man is fantastic here. Tom Holland is perfect as Spider-Man. Like, perfection. I can't think of... I look at him and I see that's a 15-year-old boy and he's Spider-Man. You know?
Yep.
Whereas I have nothing against Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield. They played their parts fine. It's just that you can it's just like they were too old for the part, basically. They didn't feel like Spider-Man to me. Tom Holland feels like Spider-Man. He captures the
really
perfect essence. And he's funny, too. I think that the Andrew Garfield one was a little bit funnier in that sense, but he was still funny, and I do like the voice that he gives. Like, the voice I thought is basically perfect. Like, the way that he's very he is funny. The action is so well directed. There's no shaky camera quick cutting in this movie. It's very well done action. That's one of the few problems I had with Civil War, was that, you know, some of the scenes would have, like, especially the scene with Bucky and Black Panther, which I'll put that up here. Yeah, see how there was, like, random little quick cutting and everything? It just kind of felt off, like a Taken movie. Like, at least it's not as bad as this scene from Taken 3. Spider-Man Homecoming has really, really good takes in it. And it doesn't even feel like a solid action movie. It just feels like a great, like, almost like a coming-of-age movie, almost. Like, it has a lot of... There are even references, like, John Hughes films. Like, there's literally a scene where he's running through... he's, like, running through random yards, and it shows, like, an actual clip from Ferris Bueller's Day Off on someone's screen, just to show, this is what we're referencing here, we're having some fun with this.
Yeah.
And Ferris Bueller Day Off is one of my favorite movies of all time, so I'm glad anything that references that is great. Yeah, that's basically most of... What else would you say? The soundtrack. The soundtrack is great.
Soundtrack. I really like the soundtrack.
Yes. There are even scenes where... There are also random scenes where he's not even, like, fighting crime necessarily. Well, yeah, he is, but it's just, like, him kind of swinging around, having fun.
Yeah.
And one thing that I love is that they address, full-on, in the comics, and, like, everyone else would talk about, what if Spider-Man's, like, out in a field? Or something, and he has nothing to swing on to? This movie addresses it with, like, a full-on, like, he's in a golf course, and he just, like, I gotta run. So he just runs through it instead of he can't swing onto it. By the way, we're getting into spoiler territory here. We get to positives and negatives. So, yeah. And there are nice, cool references to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It never felt forced for me. And thankfully to say that Iron Man, he was in all the trailers, all throughout marketing. He's only in about 5 minutes of the movie. Total. So that's great. I have nothing against Iron Man. I like Iron Man. It's just that I was afraid that they were going to overuse him because they wanted to get more crowd in. But no, it's basically like an extended cameo, basically. Yeah, so we're going to get into like the nerdy, like the Easter eggs and stuff later on in the video. Right now this is just like pluses and minuses. So, those are all the positives I have. Do you have anything you want to add?
Not really. You pretty much covered everything.
Okay.
The only thing that I have to say is another positive thing was more of the stuff inside, how they played the bad guy parts, with all the tech that they used, using things from other kind of other scenes, and it was just really good. I really like the expressions that everybody used.
Yeah, like you can tell everyone on there was either having tons of fun or they were taking it really seriously, which
Yeah.
is both two great things I love to see in a movie.
Mm.
Even if a movie is terrible, which this wasn't, even if a movie is terrible, if you can tell the actors are having fun with it, that makes it so much more fun. Like in Batman Robin, that movie is awful, but Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, sorry, just side note, I love Arnold Schwarzenegger in Batman Robin because he feels like a little kid got trapped in Arnold Schwarzenegger, so he's just like, wee! You know? Sorry, I just thought, I thought I'd mention that, just random side note. But that's basically all I can think of with the positives of the movie. There are probably others, just minor things that I love. But overall, I love this movie so much.
The Flash was really good in this. Yeah. Instead of being like
Flash.
Eagle.
Oh,
yeah,
Flash
egotistic-
Thompson.
Yeah,
I was like, The Flash. This is a Marvel movie. No, Flash
Yeah.
Thompson, the bully.
Yeah.
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 He-
Instead of being like the egotistical kind of like bully that wants to get physical, he gets into this kind of funny perspective, and it's really good comical sense.
And he actually feels more like an actual bully, like
Yeah.
bully, because like he's really more of like a big troll, like the movie trolled us with the end credit scene, which we'll get to later. But yeah, that little, yeah. But Flash, I like, and he's not like the big dumb jock. He's part of like the decathlon, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's actually a smart, which I like that change, because under normal circumstances, he like the big jock guy, like, oh, I'm gonna beat the shit out of Peter, duh. You know, but no, this
Yeah.
guy actually played it very well. I like his smarts. I like the guy playing him. So yeah, we're gonna get into the flaws here. Not that many, but we're gonna get into some flaws. Okay, so as far as flaws go, I would have liked to see more of the kids.
Yes.
I would have liked to see more of that. Like, I would have wanted to see more Flash Thompson. I wanted to see more of Michelle, Zendaya's character. Which, Easter egg there, it's gonna be awesome. I would have wanted to see. I think there was enough Liz in the movie. I
thought so.
I wasn't too big a fan of her, but I didn't hate her. She was okay.
And I felt like the ending of it, which is not a spoiler, but I felt like the end of it, when she's really not in the end of the movie too much, I felt like they didn't really draw it out from where they're saying that she's not going to come back. But I feel like it's not too much where it's like, okay, well, they just overused her. It's really a good compilation of how they did it.
Yeah, we're gonna start talking about spoilers in a minute, and then we're gonna get into the nerdy stuff as well. That's where we're gonna just go full on with it. But yeah, that was kind of like, I felt like they could have resolved it maybe for a future movie.
Yeah.
But I thought overall, I thought Liz was okay. Any other flaws? There's not really that many.
Not really.
I know it's not a perfect movie, but like overall, maybe really, I can't think of anything big. Most of the humor lands. Most of the humor is very funny.
Most of the humor does land. Yes.
Yeah. Strangely enough, I'm not going to give this my highest rating, though. We'll get to that later. But, like, there's something, like, I thought overall it was great. I can't really think of any major flaws. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any random little... Maybe every once in a while it gets a little too cheeky with the Marvel Cinematic Universe thing. Like, there's literally a scene where, minor spoiler, it's like a joke in the movie, where there's like a couple girls like sitting by the bleachers, and like he's doing curl-ups, and they directly reference Thor, Iron Man, and Hulk. Basically just like say, we're in the Marvel Universe now! We're in the Marvel Universe now! Got it? Which isn't bad. It's part of the Marvel Universe. That's awesome. Anally. But it just kind of felt like that joke wasn't that great, and they had to censor a word in it because it's a PG-13 movie. They say F instead of fuck. I wish they had, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something negative to say about the movie. I can't really think of much. Okay. So I think that's basically all the negatives I have to say.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Yeah. Alright, so now we're going to get into like the Easter eggs, and we're going to talk spoilers. So, for those of you who haven't seen the movie yet, stop watching here. Skip to this time below to see my rating of it. Alright, see you then. Still here? Got it. Spoilers. Okay, let's talk about Easter eggs. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start at the beginning.
Okay. What's the beginning? What Easter eggs were in the beginning? Oh, the beginning of the movie has... The first 10 minutes are already on YouTube, by the way.
Okay.
Did you know that?
No.
The first 10 minutes of the movie are already on YouTube.
What?
Yeah. I haven't watched it, obviously, but it's on YouTube. But there's, like, this little segment where it shows him vlogging throughout all of Civil War. And you can totally see, like, through his perspective.
Yep.
I don't know what that notification's saying. Yeah. So it's really, really cool to see random things. Like, you see... I made a video about a month ago that has, like, a mash cut of what happened in Civil War mixed with him vlogging from the trailer. But, overall, that was... Yeah. There was even more of that. There was, like, a solid, 5 minutes, almost, of that, little thing. Let's talk about that Miles Morales awesome Easter egg.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yes.
so do you want... Alright, so you want to start this off one?
Okay, so, well, first off, Spider-Man has a ton of different web combinations, and he also has an interactive person in his suit, along with Mr. Stark having, what's his name again? Oh, Jarvis. Along with Mr. Stark having Jarvis.
Isn't it called Karen in his suit?
Yes.
Karen.
Yes. Spider-Man does not have a name for it in the beginning, but then wants to call it Liz, and eventually comes to the name of Karen. And along with Karen, she has a very good personality in his suit.
It's like Siri, only better.
Yeah, pretty much. And during one of his interrogations, there is kind of a selling going on where a middle-aged, darker person is
Played by
having
Donald Glover. Played by Donald Glover.
Yes, Donald Glover.
That's part of the Easter egg. Remember that. Donald Glover. Childish Gambino. That guy.
And he's doing an arms sale with two of the bad guys, which are part of the Vulture's crew. And the nephew of him is Miles Morales, miraculously enough. Hint there, miraculous Spider-Man.
So he's like interrogating him, and he webs his hand to the car, and then Glover's basically with his hand in the car. He's just like, man, I don't want to deal with these weapons anymore, man. I got a nephew, and he plays the character of Adrian Pierce, also known as the Prowler, and in the Ultimate Comics line, his nephew is Miles Morales. So that is a direct reference to Miles Morales. Miles does exist in this universe. I actually really like Miles Morales. What do you think? Yeah. Of course, in order for them to bring in Miles Morales, they're going to have to axe you off. Or maybe they'll probably have to change something up because they can't kill you already. Yeah, soon. I don't know if they're going to or not. But yeah, I thought that was awesome. Just say, yeah, he exists. Don't worry about it. He exists here. We might do something with it later.
Another thing, the Captain America scenes. Definitely, that was one of my favorite things in the movie.
Yes.
When they're in the gym, Captain America just stands in front of the screen and does his normal quotes.
I should probably clarify in saying that it's a recording done on a like a DVD for a TV.
Yeah.
He's not actually there because they would arrest him.
Yeah.
Like they even say he's just like, all right. Cap's just like, all right. I want you to go out there. He's gonna try hard with my friend at the gym here. Try hard, and it turns off. And the coach just like, all right, guys. So that's Captain America. I'm pretty sure he's a war criminal now, but which is perfect little reference to Civil War. And they're in the bleachers. This scene was in the trailer too, but like he's with his buddy Ned, who I really like Ned in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, he's with Ned, and Ned's just Ned leans over. He's like, so you met that guy? And he's just like, yeah, met him. Stole a shield.
Yeah.
And that was so awesome.
And then there's actually 3 Captain America scenes, which, surprisingly enough, when I went to go see it with Mr. Darklord, a lot of people really didn't stay for the ending. And the ending,
we'll get to the ending. Let's just go for the second one.
That was insane. But the second one first. So the second one shows, it shows Captain America sitting in a chair backward. Yeah. And he says, so you're in detention.
He just kind of sits on it like,
yeah.
So you're in detention. Because Peter got assigned to detention. Yeah, he was assigned to detention, along with, like, Liz and a few... No, Liz wasn't assigned to detention. She was just, like, sketching. Because she had nothing else to do, which I thought was awesome. No, not Liz. Sorry, Michelle. Yeah.
Yes, Michelle.
I got that wrong. I was thinking... we need to talk about Liz and her father.
Yes.
Yes. We'll get to that in a minute. But, yeah, overall, what was it? What was I going to say? Oh yeah, and that one, the final and this is probably one of my favorite Marvel end credit scenes ever. We're not going to talk about the mid credit scene yet because we're already talking about Captain America. The end credit scene literally is just a white background, and Captain America just walks on screen like, pretend my head's in frame. He just like he puts his fists on his hips and he just goes. So one virtue that we all need to have is patience. Patience and saying, well, and he goes, so that way it's a big lead off to a giant disappointment. Implying that we waited the entire all of the credits just to have that end credit scene, which was a giant disappointment, and he goes, how many more of these do we have to do?
Yeah.
So the movie actively trolled the audience. I've never seen that done before. Like, I'm sure it's been done before, but that's like that's the first time where a Marvel movie actively trolled the audience with an end credit scene. Mm-hmm. The only thing close to it is Deadpool, but that was more of like, that wasn't as much of a trolling thing as much as it was just like a fun end credit scene.
Yeah.
Also mocked Ferris Bueller, which
oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that scene was just great. Like, I was clapping, it was amazing. Mm-hmm. Mid-credit scene though. Basically at the end of the movie, Vulture is caught and he's put in prison. So then the mid-credit scene has him walking up to a guy that we saw earlier in the movie that had his arm shattered by the shocker gun. And he has like a big brace on it. and as it turns out, his name is Matt Gargan.
I believe so.
And he said, "We need to take out the spider." He had like a red eye going on there, and Matt Gargan is the Scorpion, which is one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man villains. And they already introduced Shocker as well, so that's 3 out of the 6 Sinister Six members.
Yep.
I don't know if they're going to do anything with the Sinister Six, but I'm just saying, that's there.
Yeah.
Totally go for it. You know?
Along after that, during the end credits, after all the cameos and everything show up for everything like doubly screens and everything, after that it says Spider-Man will return. So we could be seeing a next Spider-Man after this Homecoming one.
Oh, we are going to get Spider-Man Homecoming, a sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming. They already confirmed that. I think they said there's going to be like a trilogy, along with Black Panther's going to have a trilogy, everything like that. Which I can't wait for the sequel to this, and I think he's going to be in Infinity War. Let's face that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Infinity War, let's talk about that Iron Spider costume.
Oh my
Hell
gosh,
yes!
that was amazing.
It barely shows up, but basically Spider-Man just kind of walks in to the Avengers Tower because Tony was going to have him be officially inducted as a member of the Avengers, which is awesome. But he just kind of walks in, and there's like a chamber for the most part. It's a chamber basically.
Yeah.
Which you saw in the trailer, but he walks up to it and then it kind of opens and it's basically just the regular spider suit, but it has like it's clearly made of like solid metal, and it has like a bigger logo on it and it has like some black on it. I'm like, that's the Iron Spider suit. Yeah. And I like the Iron Spider suit a lot.
I really like the design they chose. I really do.
So that was just so awesome. I'm like, I bet that's gonna be in Infinity War.
Yeah.
I bet that's gonna show up.
Yeah.
But then basically, we have to talk about that ending where he goes home and there's like a paper bag on his bed and he opens it up and Stark left his Spider-Man suit there for him to use and he puts it on and then behind him you see Aunt May in the background. She just goes, "What the fuck?" And then it goes to the credits. Yeah. Which I'm like, I'm interested to see how she's gonna take that because we have not seen that done in a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, and instead of her saying the F word,
yeah, it just cuts right before.
Right before they cut it, they put the Spider-Man head logo over it.
Yeah.
I really like that touch.
Yeah. Yeah. What other Easter eggs?
The Vulture being, well, spoiler alert because it's spoilers, Liz's father.
Yes.
To me, personally, I was expecting him to answer the door and him to have Liz and her mother captured, and then him drive him to the prom, or the dance, and them just duke it out in one of the garages. But actually, I was totally wrong. It was just a normal family just being driven, and I actually did like that. I really did like what they went there.
The thing that kind of confused me was that I heard confirmation beforehand in saying that that Michelle was going to be Vulture's daughter, but I guess either they changed it or I heard the news wrong. So I wasn't expecting it to be Liz's father. I actually completely forgot that entirely. Huh. So the best part is he shows up, he's just like in his tux, he shows up, he opens the door, and then just boom, Vulture's standing right there like,
yep.
Hey. At that car scene, man.
Oh my god.
That car scene,
that was awesome.
That car scene was phenomenal.
Yeah, I really like that.
It's literally just, it's just Spider-Man, and just Peter Parker's just sitting in the back, just like, with Liz, and he's just like scared because he knows it's the Vulture, and
yeah.
And at some point he realizes it's Spider-Man because he puts 2 and 2 together. Finally, a villain does that, by the way.
Yeah.
You'd think one would do that in the past without seeing him unmasked, but no, he's just like disappears all the time.
The first thing he mentions is the voice sounds the same. He disappears all the time. Then he starts to piece the clues together by him missing from the house party.
And you can see his face just kind of go, yeah.
That menacing face, though, I really enjoyed that.
There's this scene, I have to reenact it. Basically, it keeps going on to his face like this. Like, randomly like that. When they're in the car. And at some point, he just literally just goes, Go, Spider-Man. Well, he doesn't do the laugh, but, you know. He just goes, Go, Spider-Man.
Yeah, I really like that.
And
that
then,
was my favorite scenes.
And I love their connection and here's the thing, once again, Vulture isn't even that evil.
No.
Like, he acts evil, like, he's very much like, you listen to my family one more time, I will kill you and everybody you love. Like, you can tell, like, he's saying that, but you still have sympathy for him, because you can tell where he's coming from and his motivations.
Yeah.
And because he was in prison, he can make a return, and I want to see him return at some point. That's basically all the Easter eggs I can think of. And any other spoilers we should touch on?
They did put in the Avengers. They did add an Age of Ultron, so that was a good touch.
Yeah.
They did bring in the Infinity War stuff, and I really like that touch, adding Infinity War to this.
When did they add Infinity War stuff?
When Stark moved, they were talking about that's.
Oh
Be
yeah,
place.
yeah,
Yes.
like a new prototype for Cap's shield, which is interesting. I'm like,
Yeah.
Last time I checked, I thought Tony Stark and Captain America still had beef with each other, but no, it's just like, yep, new prototype for Cap's shield. I'm like, that's interesting. Hang on. And like he was just like, and that many Thor's magic belt.
Yeah.
Which, once again, I don't know, like, when does this movie actually take place? Because, does this take place after Thor Ragnarok? Because Thor is still gone. Think
Yeah.
about it. He left in
Yeah.
Age of Ultron. Did you notice, another Easter egg? I swear I'm probably wrong about this, but did you notice that when he was looking through, like, all of the tech, Ultron's head is in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I swear that was an Ultron head. I don't know if it was, like, actual Ultron or if it was one of his minions, but that was clearly Ultron's head.
There was a blaster made into one of his minions' arms.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yes. And like you see like one of the Chitauri ships. You see one of the Chitauri you see one of the Chitauri ships in the beginning, like crashed.
Yeah.
But the timeline in this movie is kind of confusing though.
It really is, yeah.
Because
Because the beginning of it takes place in the
like-
Avengers, and then it
like
zooms
right
to
after
8
the
years
Avengers.
later, and then after that it zooms to 2 months later. So
I don't know what it means by
understand
8 years later because last time I checked, Avengers came out in 2012. 8 years after 2012 is 2020.
Yeah.
This is 2017. So I don't know if Avengers just takes place in another year, or what. I don't know.
I don't know. I really don't.
I don't know. So that kind of confused me a little bit. I'm not sure. I don't know. I feel like an idiot for that, but I don't know. So yeah. I think I'm ready to give it my rating. How about you?
Same here. Yes.
Alright, so I'm going to give my rating, and he's going to give his rating. I'm going to give Spider-Man Homecoming a B+.
And I'm gonna give it an A-.
So yeah, that's Spider-Man, everybody.
Yep.
Thanks for coming. Yeah.
Yep.
It was nice
Thank you.
meeting you, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, see ya. Don't web me. Yeah. See ya. Spider-Man, everybody. My name is Greek Dark Lord, and I'll see you next time. Peace.